feel all professional now. All right, and welcome back to the Off the Clock Show. Joined again with Sean Gervais from OrbisX CRM, as well as Marshall Hill from the Pints of Propulsion podcast and HyperClean Car Care Products. How you doing, man?
Doing wonderful, sir. Doing wonderful. Tried a new rum today.
Oh, that one's so good. Oh,
you've had it, Diplomatica?
Yeah, it's one of my go-tos. Yeah. Because in Canada we get everything Cuban. It's true though, but that one, it's delicious.
It is good.
And,
yeah,
it's really smooth.
I tried it with a different. I hadn't seen this Vita Coca before. This was the pressed, so it leaves that white, and it has the white, the actual coconut, and then you taste it while you're. It's like, okay, that's a lot. That was pretty.
Yeah.
It's a lot. That's pretty great. Like,
man, that's amazing.
I'm on cup number 2, so hey, we're only 5 minutes in. No, not even 5. We're 50 seconds in. I'm already on cup number 2. So hey, listen, everybody, it's off the clock, no doubt.
Absolutely, that's awesome.
Salud.
Salud. Delicious. Oh man, me too. I'm honestly having probably one of the best weeks ever. Every week to me is great. It's like every day above ground's a good day, but honestly, this has been a very, I'm saying a week, really it's only been a couple days for the actual week. However, factoring in last week and this, they kind of blended into one for me. It's been phenomenal. The amount of stuff I've gotten done has been just off the charts. I can't believe it. And you know, you have those super productive weeks, and this week I made a decision. I was talking to someone and they said they don't receive any bad news after 5 p.m. anymore. They said, even if someone dies, don't call me. They said, just no bad news after 5 p.m. And so I said, well, how do you control that in this world where, you turn on the TV, even like you could turn on YouTube and you're going to see something maybe that, how do you avoid bad news in these days and times, And I was thinking about it and I was like, man, let me just try logging off of everything bad news and let everybody know I'm unsubscribing to bad news after 5 p.m. You have something to tell me, someone passed away, something's going on in your business, your life is falling apart, something, whatever it is, before 5 p.m. Let me know. And then I've got time to deal with it, but I don't want to start going to bed on a bad note, whatever it is. Honest to God, it's easier than you think. I really didn't think it would be. And I stopped watching the news, stopped listening to radio for a bit. I Facebook, everything, just shut it down at a certain period of time. And I would just tell people, like, hey, if you need to reach me for something, send me an email. And then I would just ignore the emails after a certain period of time. And I was like, man, this is working out really well. It freed me up because usually, I don't know, me and my wife, we might watch TV or something, see the news. And next thing you know, we're having an hour-long discussion about some shit that's beyond our control, about some shit that doesn't even, it impacts us in a sense, in a global sense, but not today. It's like, for example, the tariffs, everyone's this, that, a lot of this. Why are we having these debates about tariffs? Like, it's either going to happen or it's not. It's beyond my control. We just had a vote here, and we voted someone in power. They're in power now. They're going to do whatever they got to do, give them their fair shot. And, anyway, I got so much stuff done just by not dealing with mentally and physically by talking about negative stuff. And man, it's been amazing.
So it's 3:45 here. It means it's 4:45 there.
That's
I got
correct,
15 minutes, huh?
Yeah. 15. See, I was trying to keep talking so you couldn't deliver any news. Yeah, so we got 15 minutes for bad news.
Like bad news of 200% markup tariff on dairy coming into Canada? Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. And
I sent, for everybody that wants to know, I sent Sean that picture of the American eagle grabbing that goose and like just tearing it down, right? Like,
tearing it down.
Bald eagle tearing down the goose, like Canadian goose.
Yeah. Which never
I did have something from Canada this weekend I wanted to share.
All right.
Yeah, very interesting that it's still around. I had to educate the missus on it. Like, we used to have these a long time ago. I didn't know they were still around. Did you ever drink them? They're called Clearly Canadian.
Clearly Canadian? I think I might have had one in my 20s. I don't know.
That's the joke, right? Like, but is it from Canada? I don't know. But it's called Clearly Canadian. Like,
yeah.
So
I actually don't know.
It's basically seltzer water with a bunch of sugar.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that
It's
was
like
Canadian.
soda. It's
Yeah,
basically like
yeah.
a. It's basically like soda.
It's
Like
kind of like the bubblies, almost.
hmm
You know? Yeah, but they come in a cool bottle
cool
though.
glass. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
cool
yeah, yeah.
glass.
Because
hmm
I do remember. I think I'm almost positive. Actually, I had one. I think it was like pomegranate or something. That's the other thing. They have cool flavors.
They have cool flavors. Yeah.
That I do remember. Yeah, yeah. Because a buddy of mine, he had a convenience store, and I remember because I helped him one summer stocking shelves and stuff like that. His parents passed it on to lucky guy. He got passed on 2 convenience stores and 3 gas stations. His parents moved back home. And he was like, "I'll see what I can do. See what I can do." Jesus. Anyway, so I helped him get stuff organized, and I remember stocking the shelves with those. And I'm pretty sure we tried some. But yeah, they had unique flavors. The one I no, it wasn't pomegranate. It was just something with berries. It was like a berry blend, and I did have it. But I remember them being at the. I don't know what they are now, if they're still around. But they're the price of them compared to other like soft drinks and stuff like that. It was like a premium. It was kind of like the Perrier water. You know, it was. I remember looking at this little bottle, cool shaped glass, but I was like, man, why is that like $3? Everything else is, like 85 cents, $1.20. This one though was like $3. And I said, come on, you're not gonna sell those. He said, man, we sell tons of those.
Still around.
Yeah.
Still around.
Damn, so it is still around, huh? Oh
Yeah.
shit.
I'm with you.
So
I didn't drink very many growing up either. I was saying to her, like, my sister would grab some, and I
yeah.
try some every once in a while, but no way the hell I was gonna pay for those. No
Yeah,
way,
yeah.
man. That shit was
They were
expensive.
expensive.
No way.
Now they're
No.
probably like $7. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. We were at Target and I was like, I'm grabbing this and we're trying it. Like
Mm.
I was like, you got to try it. This is a blast from the past. Like I didn't know
Yeah.
they were still around.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of blast from the past beverages, though, a buddy of mine has a pizza shop. I went down and he's got it set up with old arcades and all kinds of stuff, and then a lot of nostalgic, candies and stuff from when we were kids. And he had a drink that it was a favorite of mine in high school, Tahiti treat. You ever had a Tahiti treat? Oh man, they will be hard to find. If you can, I know he orders them from the States. He gets them from some place that they kind of collect like nostalgic candies and beverages, stuff like that, and they sell them. But they're expensive for him to pick up. I don't know what they would be in the States, but here they're expensive. Man, they're good. It's a regular soft drink in a can, but the flavor of it, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like almost like a fruit punch carbonated, like a Fruitopia carbonated kind of drink mix. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it's
Like you
I was
hear about
addicted.
companies that stayed around for 10 years, 20 years, 30
Yeah,
years, right? Not a hey, we're bringing it back, right? Not one of those.
yeah, yeah,
We've got a guy inside of the HyperClean group that does a lot of stuff with us that works. Well, he's a tester, full on tester, great tester, actually, one of our best testers. Gives me the amount of feedback he gives me that's like listed out, right? Like very,
yeah.
very thorough feedback. Well, and you go because he works for the corporate Nissan.
Ah,
And so it's
okay.
like, okay, makes sense. Right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
makes sense
yeah.
why he's so thorough. But he was telling me he was, they have a new CEO and they were working with him and trying to get him to bring back the Xterra.
Shit, no way. Damn.
And so not like that, right? Like not a bring back, but what
Yeah.
would create something to stay at least relevant enough to be in stores or, not have to do a comeback, but can still stay for 20, 30, 40 years. There's so many, I think, detailers that would go, I love my family to have this when I go. Okay. So
Yeah.
what's it going to take for you to
What's
get to
that gonna
10
take?
years, right?
Ooh, yeah.
Sustainability, right? Here's something I thought of. Sustainable progress requires continual tuning.
Hmm.
So think about that. Sustainable, being able to stay,
Yeah.
but not just stay, because you can all go, listen, $1 yesterday isn't the same as $1 today. So, right, can't just stay the same. So it's sustainable progress. What does it
Huh.
take to have sustainable progress? Well, that means you have to continually tune. And I love the tune, right? You can think of an instrument,
Yeah.
a guitar. Your boy tried to be a guitar player back in the day. Tone deaf
Not so
and
much.
also rhythmically challenged.
Yeah.
Not
Presents a
great at
problem
guitar,
yeah.
right? Not great at instruments. But
Fair.
there are certain ways you tune them because they get out of tune, right? People that are natural, you'll see them. They'll da-da-da, and they'll twist it, right? They'll da-da-da, and they'll twist it.
Yeah.
Your boy had to have those little things that sit out. You press the button, you do the thing, right?
And it tells you what to do. Yeah.
Tells you, no, like not in tune. Okay, well, I didn't know, right? So how do you sustain growth and what is tunability, I think, in your business? I think it's an interesting thing to chop back and forth because there's a real question you have to ask yourself then. What creates sustainability? And you definitely go, sustainability means, and the term is basically, well, okay, here we go. Buy coconut water, buy something from different places. They're going to say they have farms, right? Sustainable, but you've got to be able to know that what you're doing is going to be able to last. You're going to be able to keep doing it, right? In that theory, let's go with that part. How do you sustain something? Well, you have to have customers, right? Have to have produce, have some, always have, not just your own energy to do it, but you always have the energy inputting in. You're always, right? So the age-old question, how do I get customers?
Yeah, my God. Yeah.
Don't know. That's another episode.
Yeah.
Sustainability. Let's think about sustainability. And you and I want to toss back and forth ideas. We think there's a way to create sustainability in not having friction in the actual moment of customer interaction, in the purchase, in the marketing, all that. Sustainability comes with not having friction. What causes friction? There you go. And here's the fun part of, right? Different ways that we find that detailers create friction in their business. This is fun, right? That we can all just start thinking, I think it's a fun exercise for any of us. What are ways that detailers create friction in the marketplace?
You know what I love about that and the fact that you brought up the guitar? Every business, I agree, needs to be tuned continuously. Every business needs to be tuned continuously, just like a guitar. But a lot of people confuse tuning and changing. And so they think, oh, I need to make changes. Most times, you just need to tune. Because change, oftentimes what happens is, it's like where they say, you're doing some marketing, and they say, that ad's not working. We need to completely change it. But then you change it so far in a different direction, and then, that ad's not working. Tuning, in comparison, would be just making minor adjustments, minor, hopefully, improvements, and seeing how the market reacts, seeing how the ads perform. That way you can land on something that's actually, working and has the highest conversion rates. When you completely change something and go a different direction, that's where problems happen. And I find a lot of the times detailers create their own friction. There are frictions that just exist in business we can go over in a moment, but a lot of the times, people panic and they say, I'm not getting enough, bookings, or I'm not getting enough appointments, or, my customers aren't coming back, or it could be something as simple as no one's leaving me reviews. And then they completely change something, and they spend so much time tuning and changing things that they're actually the first point of friction. Where instead of reaching out to, get new customers, find new ways to target new markets, instead of, I'm getting only 6 leads a week and I need 100. So instead of tweaking your booking form 100 times, instead of changing your whole booking process or this and that, spend that same energy just reaching out and filling your funnel with more people. And then you're going to actually have some data to work with. You're going to be able to see, like, maybe what you have right now is working or will work. You just don't have enough people in your funnel. But if you say, I got to tweak this or change that, you're still only dealing with the same 6 people that are coming in.
So when you say it's working, there's probably one of the friction points.
100%.
A friction point is, I can have one form of marketing to gain every form of customer that I think should come into my business.
Yep. Absolutely.
Friction.
Yeah.
Because your one form of marketing isn't what everybody else, that's going to be down to one particular or two, right? That's very specific.
Exactly.
Friction. And it's okay to have friction, right? We're just trying to talk about friction points. Once you have friction, once you see friction, then you can tune for less friction, right? We all love that saying, not all of us, but some of us enjoy the chest bump and we enjoy the moment where we go, iron sharpens iron. So one man sharpens another.
Yeah.
You realize what that moment is? That's you got like, cool. You gonna get yourself in there? Okay, let's go. You need to sharpen yourself. Okay, friction has to be sharpened down, the same as iron to iron, the same as whatever analogy you want to use. Friction has to be shaved, right? We all love to compound a scratch down and wet sand and show that. In that moment, it's pretty aggressive. You got 100%. Aggressive sandpaper going against aggressive, right? Scratch. Aggressive results, big results are only derived from the aggressiveness of that moment. So we want to go after the friction points, right? You have 100%. To go full on head into the friction point. This is a friction point. Maybe when you see a friction point, you don't want to go after it.
That's a very common thing, actually. And I think it ties into people want the easy road. People don't want to deal with, because oftentimes friction points.
I just want to market. I just want to do a Facebook. We see this. Oh, my Facebook post isn't working more. I've done Facebook posts, but it's not working. Why isn't it working?
Yeah. Why isn't it working?
Right? You see it.
Oh, I see it all the time. And it's like, okay, so what have you done to try and improve it? What have you done to assess the results? What have you done for A/B testing? Are you only doing it? And even just Facebook marketing, there's a lot of places you can advertise in Facebook. You could advertise in Facebook feeds. You could just do stories. You could do reels. You could have Facebook Marketplace. Maybe you're just in groups posting things. Like there's a million different ways. Are you doing them all? Are you only doing one or the other? And each market within Facebook would require something slightly different as well, right? So how you approach Facebook Marketplace might be different than how you do just regular posts. It might be different than how you're doing your reels. It all requires something different. The biggest thing is it's going to require you or somebody to do it, and it's going to require some thought behind it, not just whipping it together and slapping it out there in the internet, And so that's where that friction point.
That's the tune, isn't it?
That's the tuning. Yeah, 100%. And that's the big thing I see all the time is that so much time spent spinning wheels. People they're just spinning around in circles and they're not really doing anything. A lot of it might come from lack of knowledge, lack of focus, but a big part of it I think is laziness or fear that's holding them back from, because friction points, they're tough to deal with. Nobody wants to really deal with friction.
You just want it to work. Right? Yeah. I mean, it'd be a dream. Right? When Facebook first started, I mean, and the marketing, and you could go market, like,
yeah,
you realize how awesome it was? That's how cheap it was?
It's
like,
and it's the same for everything.
I wish it would go back.
Yeah,
I wish it was, let me spend $10.
Yeah, literally. And then boom, 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 boom.
A massive amount of at least clicks, right? Views, right? Not necessarily sales. We're talking marketing at that point. So for me, it was the right? Like, so would I want to go? Absolutely. Will it? Never.
Yeah, never. Not now. Yeah.
I got
if anything, it's just going to get
into something else. I couldn't keep doing it. Sustainable growth requires tuning. Doesn't require doing the same thing over and over. Friction. Something not working. Do I change, right? There's your thing. Or do I go try, not change, but try what I'm doing in different platforms and then keep working those platforms. And here's where I want to go. I think so many people go, this isn't working. And then they just expect some answer. I want to give this illustration for it hits home. It hits home. And the amount of years that I've been in business, some might look and go, hey, you should be at, let's just pull out this number financially. There's a lot of people that judge, right? Because if you've been in business for a long time, you should continue, and you should. That should be the purpose of business. I had an interesting, let's just call it problem. And that problem is every time I'd grow it, I'd want to see what else I could do instead of let me take the money.
Yeah. You'd reinvest or start something else.
Right?
Yeah.
You continue down that path. You continue to reinvest, and you continue to reinvest, and you continue to reinvest to the point of, which I've said, you eventually start spending $20,000 just on beer.
Yeah. I remember that from that event.
Right?
Yeah. It's true.
You know, if I told you the amount of money that we spent last year alone on Facebook ads, it's over triple that number.
Jeez, that's wild. But
right?
That's what it takes, is that reinvestment, you know?
Well, and so the way I was going with all that analogy, right, is when you're tuning something, when you're going, hey, this isn't working, I want sustainable growth. It doesn't mean that marketing itself isn't working, but it might mean that once you see an avenue, your tune could be, I need to double down on this. I need to triple down on this. It's not about switching platforms, so to speak, like you're saying, or changing something. It could be as simple as, hey, it seems to be when people are around me, they think I'm a nice guy. I enjoy drinking beer. Other people enjoy drinking beer. I should get more people around that enjoy drinking beer. See that tune?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I stopped doing it one way and went in another way. The amount that I saw that I could go and invest into that way, I'm going to go. Yeah. I'm going to hit. I'm going to go as hard as I can because I've tuned in to the direction. And I'm going to keep doubling and tripling and going because I don't care about personally where I'm at over here. I care about, I need to get to this, I need to continue growing. I need sustainable growth. I got to take from over here, from my personal side, funnel in now into this direction that I've seen hit.
Create that sustainable.
And then you create sustainability. Everything needs fuel.
Yep, 100%. 100%. And it's got to come from somewhere. It doesn't come from thin air, you know? And that's where it's the same thing on my side as well, where we have Auto World and it's doing its thing. It's running itself pretty much. We've got my other businesses as well. They weren't all started at the same time. And what we would do is we start one company, get it to the point where it's sustainable, it's running itself. Then we would take some of the monies that we had from that company, as well as the knowledge and experience, or maybe even use our resources like staff, things like that, funnel them over into this other business that we were starting, and then we would keep that going. And what we've built is a network of things on purpose that create sustainability, because let's say we need flyers for our Auto World, for example. We use our print shop. We own the print shop. So we have all these different sources of things where they work together seamlessly. We've created a very sustainable network of businesses because they can each funnel customers to each other. So we become our own sort of like Facebook in a way internally. We get a customer from this one business, we can funnel them over. We're talking about something completely different now where it's like that's a whole different ecosystem, but using those same principles is basically what we're talking about right now, where as you're growing your business, instead of going to buy that new boat, for example, maybe hold off and take a look at the business and how things are operating. Take a look at some of your friction points and devote some of your money and resources to eliminating those friction points. It'll make your operation run smoother, generate more money, but at the same time, create something sustainable. Because once you get a handle on those friction points, you're unstoppable, really, because it makes the ease of transaction so much, smoother for customers. Which means that as you invest more money into Facebook ads, I'm sure you've realized that, with HyperClean, for example, the more streamlined you make things, the more friction-free you make things for customers. Every ad spend dollar now is more effective because instead of bringing in 1,000 customers, but then half of them they have a little bit of friction when they're purchasing, whatever the friction points may be. You're losing them instantly almost the minute they hit that wall. Versus you streamline it, remove friction points, and now every dollar that you pump into ads or pump into marketing in some form or fashion each of those customers has a higher probability of becoming a customer, which means that you can better predict when we spend X, we can anticipate X because we know we've eliminated friction in a lot of ways, and that is how you get to a sustainable place. It really is. You got to do both hand in hand. You can't just put out a ton of ads, call it effort, call it a day, and say, well, I put out ads everywhere. Everywhere that people told me to do ads, I did them. Yeah, okay. But what happens after you spend all that money and then people come into the business and they hit all these friction points is that you're going to be losing customers every step along the way, whether it's existing customers from coming back or it's new customers. So addressing those points is going to be what leads to that sustainability as well as refueling the rockets. And you have to do both hand in hand, I think.
So let's go over some other frictions. Here's one I think, that was a big picture one. That was you've been a bit of, your marketing, we talked about some big numbers, right? You've been in business a little bit. You even talked about multiple businesses, right? Let's go one where we see inside of Facebook groups all the time.
All right.
This one I've never understood. I think I might have done it. I'm gonna just go ahead and say I gotta put myself in there because I can't say I never did it. I think I did it once or twice and I went, I just can't do this. This doesn't feel right. How about this friction point? Let's do this one. How about this friction point?
All right.
My customer wants to pay with a credit card. I need to charge them 4% credit card fee.
Man. Yeah.
Friction point.
Big time friction point. My God. Yeah. It's something they recently made legal here. Prior to that, it was illegal here. Put it this way. It's something that we don't do at our shop. We will never do at our shop. We absorb the cost. It's cost of doing business. For example, we have to rent our terminals. So we pay a rental fee for them. We could have bought them outright, but the rental fee, if something happens to them, we get a replacement the same day. So we have a rental. I don't add that on to any invoices. Never sees that that's even a thing in our business. To me, it's the same thing with credit card fees. The friction for the customer, because it's in a lot of cases seen as a penalty to the customer. They're like, geez, I have to pay this because why? You want to get your money faster? Because that's the trade-off. By taking credit cards, you're removing the friction of getting paid. So that benefits your business because it's a lot faster for them to swipe a credit card. Oftentimes, people's credit card limit, their available balance, will be more than the money they have in their checking account. So getting them to use their credit card can actually lead to higher ticket sales, and it's better for your business. You get paid faster, you get paid more, and oftentimes it's a benefit for the customer as well because should something go wrong, there's some recourse, paper trail, all this stuff. By not offering credit cards, you're creating a friction point in the ability to pay you, in the ability to do business with you, and in the overall representation of your business as a professional business, right? If it's like, oh, I only take, like transfers or, Venmo or something like that, it does say something about the potential quality that the customer is going to receive, the service, the value, the attention to detail, all of those things. It's a big red flag to a lot of customers. You're going to get a lot of customers that they prefer that. And hey, yeah, can I pay cash and no receipt and all this and that? But the type of customer that you're attracting is not one that's going to lead to sustainable growth. The
sustainable customer.
Yeah, it really isn't. They have no loyalty to you at all. Anyone else that's going to offer them that same kind of thing, discount the price, not pay tax, all that stuff, you're not building a sustainable business with that model.
All right, so friction point.
Yep.
Credit card or not credit card? We went over that. Friction point next. I'm going to accept credit cards.
All right.
Right. Used to be, people would go, well, I don't take Amex. I think that's gone now, right? I'm pretty sure, but we can all go. Those of us have been around can remember there was times where people wouldn't take an American Express. Friction points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because a lot of people wanted to use their Amex.
Right? A lot of the people you want as your customers, they only have Amex. They don't want to give you anything else. So, friction point. We got that out of the way. How does somebody pay? Friction point. Sticky friction point. Do I charge a deposit? Friction point. Do I trust the customer after I leave their car, he's going to just pay? Friction point, she, he, whatever, right? At that moment, I need my money. I'm sending you my invoice. Friction point. How simple is it for that customer to not hand you over the cash or the check, but press a button or press the side of the phone, look at it, and then put the phone down, right? How simple do you want to make you receiving the money from the customer? The easiest is looking at my phone, clicking the side button, and using Apple Pay. If you're on Google, sure, I'm sure Google somewhere, the Google Pay does something like that, right? Like,
of course.
There's the touch.
Yeah.
Okay, least amount of friction.
Yeah.
I get an email from OrbisX. They click pay. I look at my phone, whatever, and I look at it, I click, and I go, next email. Simple.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's the speed
that
of it.
is the least friction possible. When did
100%.
they get that email? Did they get it before? Did they get it after? Did they get it at a time before you give the key? There becomes all the different moves in the way you want to do your business, right? But the number one way to have the most sustainable progress is to have the least amount of friction when it's time to pay for something. I just know personally, even if I've wanted to pay, but if there's a hard way for me to, it gets stuck in a cart. I have to go get my how many of us have gotten our phones, we're out trying to pay for something, they need me to input the numbers. I have to go get my wallet. Listen, as ADD as I am, there's plenty of those abandoned carts on me that I was ready to pay for it if I could have just paid for it at that moment. Looked at my phone, clicked a button, blinked a couple times, and it's done.
100%. 100%. Absolutely. And that's where the speed of it helps a lot. And I think that even terminal side creates, so they have those, little readers that you can, tap and stuff like that. I would even argue that a little tap reader versus a full terminal can be a friction point as well at times. It's just a minor one, but I would say either way is good because you're still getting paid quickly. But I will say that having the full-on terminal, when I see that, like, someone comes here, we had a guy come and install a water heater. When he comes, he pulls out the terminal. I'm like, amazing. To me, in my brain, I'm like, this is a professional business. There's an option for me to leave a tip. There's all these different things. It's just, I
like
feel
iPad,
more secure.
You say terminal.
When I say terminal,
I think those not in Canada might not understand what that is. We don't carry around this like thing with a set and it stands out and it's a terminal. No, it could be an iPad.
No, but like a handheld, exactly. Yeah, and then making it fast, easy. The technology's there. You can use OrbisX for this. You got to make it easier for people to pay. And reality is that even though you can pass on the credit card fees, I would argue that it's much better to just build it into your price and don't penalize the customer, because the customer also a lot of times wants to use their credit card because they get points. They get points and they want to use them for stuff. But why do they get points? How do they get points? By spending more money. So that's okay. Let them. You're going to save, $30, let's say, on a $1,000 bill, for example. So what? Just add that into your pricing structure. Just add that in so it's part of your price. And that way, when you go to build a customer,
people
here
add in, they go, well, I was at 1,000, so I need to be at 1,030.
No.
I think maybe another way to think of add is maybe absorb.
Mm-hmm. Absorb. First off, you can claim that as a business expense, so it's going to reduce your overall business income when it comes tax season. And yes, you should be filing taxes 100% for your business. So it's going to be deducted against your overall business income, your gross. But even that aside, it's just absorb it in other ways. So spread it out across the board. So you're charging credit card fees.
It gets absorbed in fees, right? So what he's talking about is in your taxes, there'll be line items, right? You have cost of goods, you have operational expenses, Inside of those,
Absolutely.
there's a line item that'll be fees. Bank fees are one of them. Cell phone fee. Any type of fees can go in as, here's what I got charged.
Yep, exactly. And that'll reduce your overall income, which reduces the amount that you overall have to pay to the government for taxes. But the whole time you've been collecting taxes as well. And so you can oftentimes deduct from what you have to remit to the government. You can deduct whatever expenses you had to produce those goods or services, right? So it's beneficial in that aspect as well. But the fees are very reasonable. If you're with one of the major providers, the fees are very reasonable for taking credit cards. The biggest thing is the advantages far outweigh anything else, especially since the minute you get their credit card the first time, it saves on their profile, so it's now in OrbisX, which means that when you go and pitch them on maintenance services and things like that, or future visits, a great way that we do at our shop to reduce friction, on a repeat visit, we ask them one question. Would you like us to charge the card on file? Yeah, sure, go ahead, Sean. Perfect. Now we know the minute it's done, when my guys hit complete, the next step, our receptionist goes, charge card on file. It's done. Our customer at that point wasn't even involved. That's the least friction you could possibly have. I can't think of a way to streamline that any faster, to be honest, unless Luna just starts charging cards. Luna. Absolutely. But that to me is one of the best ways, and you absorb the cost and you can spread it out across all your services. So if you raise each of your services every year by a certain percentage, the bonus is that your credit card processor isn't raising their rates to the same degree that you should be raising your rates every year. So if you're raising your rates 5 to 10% a year, your credit card company is likely still charging you the same amount that they were last year. So it's not like you're seeing a huge increase in that.
They don't get inflation.
No, not at all. And so that's where, for me, convenience of getting paid, it's another added value for your customer that they can collect the points. It also presents you as a professional business because you accept all of these cards. How many times you go into, well, maybe it's not as common to see anymore, but there used to be like a lot of signs where it'd be like, we accept all major credit cards. It was like a big deal. People pushed that and promoted it because prior to that, the payment process was cumbersome. And so when people started introducing, like when terminals came around, when, other forms of paying online and stuff like that, that wasn't always the case. Like you and I will remember buying things before, and even when shopping carts first came out online, they didn't even have payment processing at the time. The first ones, you would just add stuff to cart, place an order, and it would go to someone's email, and then you'd go in store, pay for it and stuff. Like, it was a process, so the less friction you can have in the process nowadays, the better for your business overall. And it's an added convenience for your customer, but also for you. So that fee you're paying is actually kind of an insurance or a security for you to get paid faster, to get paid on time, and to raise those ticket prices, but also you get to store the card on file. Future visits, future this and that. I think it's a win-win-win all around, unless you start dinging the customer with the fees, because the customer's not going to tell you. Most times they're not going to say, when you added that line item for the card fee, it really rubbed me the wrong way. You might get the occasional guy that says that, but most times they're just going to be like, okay, great, pay their bill, and then next time they're going to look for someone else that maybe doesn't do that, or even if the pricing is the same in the end, they don't feel like they're getting nickel and dimed, and that's the biggest thing, is it's like, really, like, you're going to charge me for the microfiber too? You're going to charge me for this and that? And that's where, like, our shop, we don't do the shop supplies, we don't do any of that stuff. I know some guys do. If that works for you and your business and it's working, have at it. But if you're someone listening and your business isn't where you want it to be, and you feel like you're struggling and you need to make some changes, instead just tune your business and look at certain things like, maybe I should not charge deposits. If I'm not as busy as I want to be, maybe you remove that wall and just let anybody book, and then you follow up with them, make sure they're a real person, you make sure the date works for both of you, you upsell them some things, hopefully at the same time. Having deposits, in my opinion, is it's a big sense of friction, but it's also a sense of necessary friction for shops that are super busy. So we're doing 25 to 30 cars a day, but we still don't charge deposits. We just keep a roster on a wait list, and we follow up with customers ahead of time by phone. I know, sounds old school, but we call them. It's a crazy thought. And we say, hey, is there anything that would prevent you from making your appointment today? It's at 1 o'clock this afternoon. No, I'm going to be there. Okay, perfect. Or they say, you know what? Shit, I know I booked that in, and my daughter's got this recital that came up. Da-da-da. We say, no problem. We can move you to another day. I'll confirm that with you, but we're going to get somebody in to fill your spot. No problem. Boom. We go to our wait list, and we work the list. We just call and call and call. First person that says, yeah, I can be there, we're good to go. On that note, when we make our wait list, we say to people, if you had the option, let's say I call you a moment's notice, how soon could you be here? And we have some people that tell us, you call me, I'll be there in 15 minutes. We say, perfect. We put them on a separate wait list. It's on different printed color paper, and that's the first list we target. If someone says they can be there in 15 minutes, and we know there's an appointment, a free spot that someone rescheduled coming up in an hour, we work that list. We get someone in there to fill that spot. But if you're not busy enough, don't put deposits. I understand you feel like, oh, it's going to protect my ass. If the customer's not coming, the customer's not coming. Period. You got to follow up with them. You got to, keep in touch with them to get them to come in. And deposits are only going to be one more source of friction, in my opinion.
Well, yeah. I mean, anything at the point, you just got to think about it. At any point at the time of transaction at commerce, any extra steps, whether that's inputting a number, whether that's having to just anything that has overly simple, like it's not simple and it's now complicated, anything, then you're going to have a percentage. It is what it is. The same as, listen, we can all understand SEO. We can all understand websites, right? Like let's think, now SEO is the wrong word. I apologize. What is it? E-commerce, I guess, is the correct word. When it comes to e-commerce and when it comes to websites, they say the amount of clicks that it takes for somebody to get to, I want to buy, to what they're looking for, the amount of clicks it takes for them to get to it, it increases the percentage that they're going to click off and they're going to go to another website, right? Like they need to see what they want to see as quickly as possible. There's a percentage, the amount of clicks, then that rate goes up that they're off and they're going to click off. You got to think of it the same way. The moment that I'm asking for somebody's money, the more work they have to do, the less, the greater the chance that it's not going to be sustainable. All right, let's go into the last one. 100%. At least for me, this is the last one for me.
Yeah.
I like this one.
On that note, I have a list of 20 that I'll post in the group after, and people can download. I got a list of 20 and it breaks it down with solutions and everything.
Okay, well, we'll go over that in a second.
All 20?
Don't fluff that off. That's a great...
Fair.
It's how they can use Luna and OrbisX to solve it. So don't fluff it off. I just mean the last one I want to toss back and forth with you. But he does. It's a great thing. People need to go check out. I like this one, though, to close out as far as frictions. I'll just say it. I won't try and set it up. Packages.
All right. Oh, that's one of my favorites.
I was going to try and set it up, and this is like, I set up the last one. Packages. Yeah. I'll just drop it. Packages.
Just drop it.
The bigger, I think, I don't know of a bigger friction point than overcomplicated packages, too many packages, the way the packages are displayed on a website or a brochure or whatever.
Overly described packages. Oh my God.
Packages.
Yeah.
Friction point. They're not going away. The friction point isn't going away, but you got to tune it. So there's a friction. Guaranteed your packages and the way you display them or any point into that has friction because people are going to go, well, do I want this? Do I want that? Well, what do I want? Friction. That's friction.
It's true. Yeah. I look at it like this. Near my house, there's a Subway. Across the street, there's a place called Frank's. Frank's makes some of the best sandwiches you'll ever have in your life. I lived near Frank's for 7 years, and I didn't even know about Frank's because they're so busy. They don't advertise at all. They don't anything. They're only open for half the day. They'll have a line of 30 construction workers, and that same line, from the first guy that stepped in line to the last 30th, the transaction, the whole process is 5 minutes for all 30. Then there's another steady stream of another 30 and another 30, and it's nonstop, and then they close early. I didn't know about Frank's because they don't advertise, because they haven't needed to. But I had some construction workers here, and they were like, man, you live so close to Frank's, you're lucky. I said, who the hell's Frank? And they said, you got to try Frank's. So they went down to lunch and got me some Frank's to try it out. And I was like, blown away. Amazing sandwich. I had the one that was called the Rocky Balboa. And what they did, they have 31 different sandwiches, kind of like Baskin-Robbins. They're the Baskin-Robbins of sandwiches. They don't do substitutions. They don't do any of this. If you want something out of your sandwich, you pick it out yourself. They have pre-made sandwiches for almost every kind of combination you could think of. And that's all they do. And you go in there and you tell them a number. If you're not ready with the number, they go next, and they just skip past you. And you're like, oh shit. And then you have to go back to your phone, look at the menu, and you got to figure out which one you want. And then you go back in line.
Did you learn that the hard way?
I did when I went in there. Actually, I went in the first time. In fact, I went in and I had asked for the same sandwich. I said, I want to get the Rocky Balboa. And they were just kind of looking at me, and then they look next. They do everything by numbers. I don't even think the staff know the names of them. You know what I mean? Everything's numbers. You go in there because there'll be when I say there's a line of 30 guys, there's a line of 30 construction workers, but each one's ordering for like 6 people because they're ordering for whatever crew they're working with that day. They go in there and they say, we need a 14, a 22, a 5, a 6, and a 31. That's it. Boom. That's the order. You have someone else, their whole job, they just yell out numbers. That's all they do. They take those list of numbers from you, then they yell those numbers out one at a time to the people on the line. There's about 6 or 7 people on the line, and these guys are like, one guy, his whole job all day, slapping pickles. He just takes pickles, slaps it on sandwiches. That's all he does. Next guy does lettuce and tomatoes. The next guy's doing the sauces, whatever sauce goes on. It's wild to see it. But you go into Subway, and it's a very different story. I'm sitting there as a customer now, and because they've decided to give the customer unlimited options and choices, I'm now waiting for them to figure their shit out. I'm waiting for the guy to figure out, like, sir, do you want it toasted? And he's like, I don't know. That, maybe, nah, you know what? Yeah, toast it, please. And I just want to strangle the guy. I'm like, are you serious, bro? Like, you don't know if that's you? Tell me you're not the guy that's doing that. Marshall, no. So, and don't get me wrong, the multiple options, the plethora of options can seem like a competitive advantage, right? But it's very different target markets that they're going after, right? So in one sense, Subway has introduced friction, and they've said, okay, we're going to create friction and give people unlimited possibilities. You have as many choices as you want, but they're going to draw a certain crowd. Then you've got the other side of the street. You've got construction workers that don't have a lot of time in between their break. They've got to order for 6 or 7 different people. They don't have time to be spitting out different, Frank wants the, mayo, and, Tom, he's got an allergy to whatever, so I need this and that. They don't have time for that. They're just like, I need a 14, a 5, a this, that. Very different customers. My point of this whole story is that it is possible to create friction in your business. Subway's taking the approach of multiple different packages per se, where you can choose this and choose that and everything. However, they have to back that by millions and probably billions of dollars of advertising and multiple locations and stuff. It's a very different model. So at times it can be easy to look at a business like that and say, oh, well, Subway's doing it, so I could be able to do the same thing in my business. But you have to understand, when it comes to a sandwich, it's a very simple thing. It's just a sandwich. It's something we're all familiar with. We've all made a sandwich ourselves. When we're talking about a soccer mom that calls your business and she wants to get some detailing done on her minivan, she doesn't understand most times if she's looking at it and says, oh, well, shit, this one includes the door jambs and that one doesn't, and this one has a 2-step versus a 3-step. What does that mean exactly? And we have to take a step back and realize that friction can be the biggest killer in your success, especially in creating a sustainable business. So to follow up with a quick funny story actually about it, those pre-made muffins, for example, where it's like a muffin in a box and it has the flour and all this stuff, and you can make, you just basically add water or whatever, scoop it in a pan and put it in the oven. And now you have muffins, right? I don't know what they're called exactly, like Betty Crocker type thing. You know those boxes? All right, so to reel this in, so they realized, they said, well, right now you had to add water and eggs at the time. And they said, okay, so let's just add in the stuff from the eggs, so all you have to do is add water. So they did that, and they noticed that housewives stopped buying it because there wasn't any involvement of them. They felt like they weren't really doing anything, so they weren't really cooking. They felt like they weren't baking, and so all they did was take the eggs back out. Sales went back up because now all you have to do is add water and eggs. And so they were like, oh, okay, I'm actually part of the process now, adding it in. Those are the kind of things, that and the Subway sandwich are the kind of things that the average customer is going to be okay with. Us being the artisans that we are, with detailing and knowing that, this vehicle needs a one step, or maybe it needs paint protection film applied, or like us knowing all the ins and outs of the business, the customers coming in most times with a blank slate, they don't understand anything. And so when you've got, we have the silver package. Oh, great, you have the silver package. And within the silver package, we have a one step, a two step, a three step, and we also have this and we have that, and then we can coat your seats and we can do this. I'm telling you, those multiple steps, you've lost them. And we need to get more like Amazon, where Amazon literally, I think they got the patent actually, but they had patented a long time, or tried to patent a long time ago, a one-click checkout. They realized that even just someone entering their name and address can be a problem. So they wanted to, build your profile, and then now they have that buy now button where you can find something you want. You don't even add it to cart anymore. So if we look at this and we say, okay, here's a multi-billion dollar, probably trillion-dollar company that's realized that systemizing commerce leads to the most sales, and they're going the route opposite of Subway, and they're saying, give people options, they can choose stuff, they search it up, sure, but they're selling products, very different thing. But one-click checkout, that's what you need in your business. So if you could reduce your packages down to just detailing, and they just choose that, I want to book a detail. And then you follow up with them and say, okay, we've got you booked in for a detail. Now to go over some finer details, we've got you booked in. Were you looking to do this, 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 this? I'll put together a tailored package for you. You become the package creator for them instead of expecting your customer to curate their own package.
What about this?
Hit me with it.
A website.
All right.
Need to get your car washed? Need to get your car detailed.
All right. I love it. Yeah.
Because I think this is an interesting question we all need to ask ourselves. So in this moment, you get to look at yourself in the mirror and go,
what am I? Yeah.
And I love this back and forth because people will go, I'm a detailer. I laugh and make fun of people that wash cars.
Yeah.
When the majority of times you see a interaction between a man and a wife, they're looking at their car and they go, boy, your car needs cleaned. What does cleaning mean? Does it mean simply washing the car?
Yeah.
Does washing the car mean you do a bad job? Well, if you don't plan on being in business very long, you bet it does. If you plan on being in business a long time, that means you wash that car the best that it can possibly be washed. That customer's as happy as he possibly can. That customer's happy and your business is thrilled. What does that mean and how does it translate to financially? What is that price point and all that? I don't know. That's for you to decide. But the easiest friction for the amount of customers that you could ever get, they love to have their car cleaned. That's simply true. Washed and cleaned. Now, I saw posted inside of a detail group, this guy was asking and talking about price, and he goes, listen, I think I might have done a little too less. I did the outside and the inside on this, and I only charged $175. Inside the comments, well, what'd you do on the outside? You wax it? No, I just washed it. You say? Okay, so you want to be a detailer then. Okay, detail cars, no problem. Right? For everybody that got upset earlier when I was talking about pro car wash, okay, if you want to be a detailer, you're going to have to be very specific and narrow down. Do you want to be defined as a detailer? Because I'll ask you this question. Go ask anybody that's at a car wash that's wiping their car down. What do they do to it? What are they doing it? They're detailing it. Oh, how dare you?
Yeah.
Happens every fucking day. I had a buddy in just this last week.
Yeah.
Now, his name is Randall, and when I was a mobile detailer, he actually worked for me for a little bit. He was in between jobs. You know how it is. It's like a month. You know he's a great dude, and he shows up every day, but you know it ain't gonna last, right? So he was a buddy of mine. Came to work for a little bit.
Take it while you get it, though. Take it while you get it.
Take it while you get it.
Yeah.
Take it while you get it. He was in this last week. I forgot what I was going to say. I told you. I was too much into the rum, and it was going to be like, what were we talking about? I was telling you a story about Randall. Why did I tell you the story about Randall?
Yeah. So someone they say are they washing their car, and they say they're detailing the car.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He said, I said, man, how do you care for your car? He goes, well, I go through the car wash. Okay, I get it. He goes, but when I really want to take care of it, I've got this little bag, and it's my detail bag. Man, if I really got some time, I'll detail it out after I get out of that car wash. What do you have in there? Oh, I got my towels. I got some brushes. I got some shine. Now, detailers go, God damn it, that ain't detailing.
Yeah.
That's car washing.
Yeah.
Okay. Friction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Friction. You define detailing in a certain way. And again, I apologize for the brain fart. I told you all it was going to happen. But you define detailing a certain way. Friction is what we're talking about. You want your car cleaned? Do you want it detailed? And there's one way that you can start to move people without you even having to be involved. And then your packages should resemble car wash level services. Your packages on the detail should resemble detail level packages.
Yeah.
I think there would be a lot less friction for people. I called them express. I called them mini details.
We do the same
Back
thing.
then,
We
they were
have
35
mini
bucks.
details. Yeah.
It basically is a wash and vac. They thought it was a detail.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why did I care?
Yeah.
I didn't care what they called it. Internally, I knew we washed that car, we wiped the door jambs, we threw some tire shine on, and we wiped down the inside and did some vacuuming and stuff.
Yeah.
It wasn't a detail. Well, the customer thought of it as a detail.
Yeah.
He
100%.
thought, right? They thought that it was so amazing. The wash and vac. We offered wash and vacs. You'd never wash. Oh, you won't? Why?
Yeah.
They make great money. You make great money washing and vacuuming car.
So little time.
So little time.
It's nothing, almost
no
nothing
little
used.
To train. You know the guys that washed and vac cars for me? Easiest guys around. They didn't have to do much. Easy.
Yeah.
Cool. The next one. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
I'll tell you
the
this right now.
only thing I had to do was stay on them and keep going. I didn't have to worry about their skill set.
Exactly. Because they're not doing too much.
Ain't no
It's
skill.
like, Jesus Christ. Exactly.
I have to worry about them spraying the car a certain way or doing something. You just got to wash it and vac it, my guy. Here's your steps. Let's go.
It's true. It's funny. I've seen, because I do get quite a few requests for this, but I've seen more people that talk about, doing a consultation. Someone comes in, they look at the car for this and that and stuff. That whole transaction process just infuriates me, because for me, when we get walk-ins, for example, and they want us to, quote on something or take a look at their vehicle or whatever it is, the first thing we ask them is, this is going to take about 15 minutes. Do you want a mini detail while we're talking about this? 9 times out of 10, they're like, sure, what would it cost me? We're like, $30. They'll take care of it while we're talking about whatever's going to be happening and stuff, and then you're going to leave here with a clean car. Clean car. We don't say detailed car. We don't get a clean car. And 9 times out of 10, that walk-in, whether they do business with us or not, they get that mini detail, $30. So at least the person talking with them, I've covered their rate for the hour. We're good to go, because boom, their car's getting cleaned. But yeah, we do the same thing. We're not so hung up on the terms. I'm in this to make money. If some customers want this and that, and that's why we focus a lot on something you preach a lot, which is car care. Car care. Take the detailing, take the cleaning, take that out of it, and just wrap it into one. Car care. How do you want us to care for your vehicle today? How would you like us to do this, do that, da da da. We find out what the customer wants. We give them that and
How
more.
easy friction is
and then
that?
upsell. Oh,
Bing, bing.
Jeez.
Hi, so and so's. I'm so and so's car care, AMX car, whatever. AAA car care, whatever. Right?
Yeah. We absorb the credit card fees, car care. There we go. Boom. Yeah. No friction.
Best car care.
Best car care.
We joked
Love
about
it.
Diamond. What was the number one?
Yeah. Oh, the number one thing
Platinum,
is
Diamond.
Platinum. Diamond is up there too, and then you get the ones like attention to detail.
Attention to detail is a good one. Yeah,
that's a big one. Yeah, that's
a
way
big
up
one.
there. Something with suds or super suds or something. That one's up there too for some reason. But there's some terms that just get thrown
And
out.
so the question, all right, I'm so and so detail or car care, right? Hi, how can I help you? Well, I need.
Boom, boom,
And then
boom.
you do. There's never we don't do that, right? Except if you get into right, I get it, right?
Yeah.
But well, I need to get my car washed. Great, come on down. Well, I need this, and this. Great, come on down.
Yeah.
Right, it's an open thing, right? Like, and then you go, well, maybe they don't fit into my package. That's your fault.
Yeah. That's
Friction.
True. Yeah.
Friction is your fault. Fit them into one of your packages.
100%.
Well, I do that, but I got to put this on, and well, I've got to do this, and it's $482. Huh? Like, for me, a mini detail, we just wiped some stuff and did the windows. I said that. It's the same as a wash and vac, but we got $20 extra for wiping the dash and cleaning the windows.
Yep. Absolutely.
They wanted a detail. Bring. Hi, I need a detail. Cool. What are you looking for? I need my interior cleaned and washed. Great. We got that as a mini detail. Perfect.
Yeah. Let's go.
I need a detail. I need a fucking detail.
Yeah.
How dare you call it a detail?
Okay.
Friction.
I'm glad you brought up one point too, is that when a customer calls, because something that we do, if someone says, we say, what are you looking for? We try and probe a bit, and then we listen. That's a very important part of the sales process. Don't always be talking. Listen to what they want, right? If someone continues to use a certain terminology, we match their energy. We match those same terms. If someone says, I was just looking for someone to wash my car, no problem. We don't hit them with we have a VIP detail. We'll hit them with, we have a VIP wash. We have a standard wash. We have a this and that. Match their same energy. Just replace the term. If someone mentions detail, use a detail term. If someone says, just want to clean my car, no problem. We have a deep clean. We have a mini clean. We have a this and that. When you're speaking to them on the level that they understand, your sales conversions are going to go up. Almost always. Because you're using terms they understand. When they say, what's included with my vehicle, we usually hit them back with another question, but you can just jump into it if you want. But we don't hit them with things like door jams, this and that. We don't hit them with any of that. When they say, well, what's included in, X package or whatever, we hit them back with, what areas were you looking to see attention paid to? Oh, well, I've got, salt stains there, or this, that, another thing. No problem. That's all covered. That's included with our mini wash. But since you also want to do the back seats, this, that, whatever, we just play with it.
Do it. You just do it, don't you?
Yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
Like, wouldn't you want, like, if you went in, I think the
Jesus.
way I always think is, like, if I went into this place, would I want them to tell me they got to charge me extra to do the door jams? Just fucking do the door jams, man.
Just fucking do it. Yeah, it takes 2 seconds, man. Jesus, like, it's crazy. As much as we rag on dealerships as the detailing community as a whole, we have a lot to learn about dealerships because we all say our shit about them, but man, they are successful at selling it. And if you say, like, I can't believe the dealership's selling this to the customer for $900 is just a basic car wash, you should be like, how the fuck can I learn from them to charge $900 for a basic car wash? We have a lot to learn from the dealership industry as a whole, I think. And do they do as good a quality as you meticulously going over the car and detailing? Probably not. But so what? It's time to let that go, put the guard down, realize that dealerships are about removing friction. They do not want friction at all. They are about volume. They are about getting customers in and out the door. They're not about creating parking lots where they've got 5 cars sitting there for 4 days each. They want those vehicles out as fast as possible. They want to do it for paying their employees as little as possible. There's lots of problems with it. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is We can learn a lot from how they do things. I guarantee you, you'll never go into a dealership where they're going to sell you a detail or a car care or a car clean package, and it's going to be confusing. Never. You'll never see a dealership where they've got 5011 packages and you've got to piece this together and that together, and they mention door jams and stuff. You're just not going to see it. They understand the customer that they're dealing with, and we have to understand that every person that purchases a car, unless they start purchasing it privately, they're purchasing it from a dealership, so we are sharing the same customers. And so if someone as big as Nissan or Toyota, if they've implemented this and they've done their homework on what the customers are expecting, what they're looking for, and how we can sell to them, maybe it's time we start piggybacking off of that research and we say, holy shit, okay, maybe I need to structure this more like them. Because I see it a lot where I'll get someone that starts using OrbisX and they say, well, it's just, I found my customers, they thought the booking form was too confusing. By default, the booking form has almost nothing on it. Just name, email, phone number, and then basically book now. You put in everything aside from that. So if you've put in 100 different packages and it's really confusing and it's organized in a poor way, yeah, your customers are struggling. That's not a software issue. That's the friction points you've created. Keep it simple. At our shop, we keep it simple. We have limitations where we can limit like how often someone can book. We don't even use them. To be honest, just fuck it. Book today if you want to. We're going to call you. Us, it's just a lead generation tool. We get people that book in. I'm not concerned if the customer's like, well, I saw online that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is available. Be like, yeah, sorry, unfortunately, it was. And then our live chat was talking to a customer, they booked it in. However, I've got a spot at 3 p.m. if you want. No, that doesn't really work for me. Oh, well, what about tomorrow at 10? Actually, that could work. It's a conversation with the customer. So we've removed friction in getting their information, and then we've added friction by us having to call them. So we've added friction, but we added it on our side, not the customer side. The customer's still getting that experience because at the end of the day, to be honest, I don't want digital customers. That's just me personally. At our shop, we don't want the guy we never talk to because we find that those guys just kind of go wherever the wind's blowing, whoever's offering X price or this and that. We want the person that we talk to, we build a relationship with. Those are the customers that stayed a long time and build a sustainable business for us. So whatever works for you, do what you got to do. There are some customers that self-book. However, packages can be, I would say, one of the biggest sources of friction. Packages, confusing offers, it's got to be dead simple. It's got to be written in layman's terms that the average customer is going to understand, not the average detailer. If you're writing this for detailers, you might as well just go sell to detailers and see how much business you get. But if you're writing this for the average person, take out things like door jams and what's included and just focus on what they want. They want an overall clean vehicle that's very subjective and means something different to everybody. So figure out what that means to your customer base, and that's how your packages need to be structured and written. And I would say reduce down. I like, there's a guy we'll mention because right now he's kind of in turmoil with people's opinions in politics and stuff, but there's someone who runs a very big company that makes rocket ships. I'll just say that. And he has a policy where they take the code that they're working with. So things like they also make self-driving cars. We'll just leave it there. So they take the code that they're working with and they say, strip back as much as possible. Rip back as much code as we can. And they say, yeah, but hold on. The engineers are saying if we rip out too much, it might be too much code and it might not do this and that. And he says, it's okay. The way to get maximum efficiency is to rip out more than you need and then add things back in slowly. That's the way you should look at your packages in a similar fashion, is that rip out as much as possible and go back to just 2 packages. We have 2 packages to choose from.
Good, better, best. I like the
exactly.
Good, better, best.
Good, better, best is amazing. Small, medium, large. Like, this is seen across so many different industries. It works so well. And it's something so let's go that. Strip it back to 3 packages. Because, Marshall, I've seen people, they have like 9 different packages for the same fucking thing. And I'm like, I'm even confused. What's happening here? And I'm in the industry. So imagine a customer looking at that. It's paralysis. They're just like, I don't even know what to choose. It's too much work for them. They just wanted to get their car cleaned. They're coming to you for convenience, for time saving, and now they feel like they're doing homework, they're doing trigonometry, and it's like, holy shit, man! Like I just want my car cleaned. Is that okay? Like, please, like, strip it back, strip it all the way back. And I do like the guys that they've got like one package and then it's just priced by vehicle size. That makes sense to me. It's like a house. If I'm cleaning 1 bedroom versus 3 bedrooms, it's different. That to me makes sense. But the door jams, well, every car has door jams. Is that not just included? It's part of the car. I don't understand. Like, and we got to clean the wheels too. Fuck, every car has wheels. Like, I don't understand why I'm being penalized for this. So yeah. So anyway, that's my point there.
You have some 25, was it, or top 20?
20, top 20.
You're still on that bouquet, aren't you? I mean, we got to get you down to David Letterman and like the top 10, right? Dude, those were the best. I love when Letterman used to do the top 10s.
Yeah, that's true. Ones. Yeah, that was good. And
all right, but you got top 20.
Top 20, yeah. Friction points. Not only friction points, but I have 2 things. I wrote it out like this. The friction point is a statement, and then I put the why it's a friction, because sometimes people might see something and be like, well, I do that. Why is that a friction point? I put the reasoning behind it, and then I followed up with the solution. And so most of this will be software-based, so it's ways that Luna can actually help you with your business. Luna. She can help you succeed with OrbisX. Some of them are offline-based and something that can't be solved by software, but they can be solved by yourself, your staff, your marketing team, whomever. There's 20 points. These are the top 20 points you need to have straightened out and honed in on for 2025. And then once these are done, you've got essentially a sustainable business prepped and ready. And then all you have to do is feed it customers. So I'll be posting a link to this. It's free, 100%. If you want to buy me a coffee, have at it. I do accept credit card because I don't want it to be friction filled, and I will absorb the fees. But so I will be posting this as well in a PDF format, so you guys can download it and start removing friction from your business.
There's where was it? Somebody I used for something, and they instead of like a tip or sending to, they said, hey, buy me a cup of coffee, and it was like you put in a couple bucks to this guy's coffee account. Seems like I'm not tipping the guy. It seems like I'm just getting him some cup of coffee. And I was like, I like it. Less friction. Here,
less friction.
Buy me a cup of coffee. Once you said it, you go, if you guys want to buy me a cup of coffee, it's like, okay, now it makes sense why that guy put that in. Like, it's some website or something that
it's like
you can just buy somebody a cup of coffee. Like,
yeah. It's like a way of showing appreciation without And it's funny. That's how we've accumulated a lot of reviews. Actually, is we don't take tips at AutoWorld, and so we have a tip jar. It's taped up, and then it says instead of tips, we'd appreciate a review. And then we talk to them about, during the thing, we say, and by the way, when you check out, your total is going to be your total. We don't ask for a tip, but what would help us out the most, the biggest tip, is if you could give us a 5-star review on Google. And through that, we go at the end of the month, we tally them all up. Whoever had the most gets either a free day off or a weekend away with their spouse or something like that. It's the best thing you can do for us. And people, they feel a commitment. They're like, I got to do this. While at the same time, it reduces that friction of like, oh, great. It's time to check out now. I got to pay the bill. Like, think of a restaurant. That's the worst feeling in the world. Like, when I went in there, I was hungry, so I would have paid anything. You know what I mean? But now that I'm full and you give me a bill, I'm like, fuck, man. And then if it's difficult to pay, it's a problem. And there's a reason why you don't see that at restaurants. You don't see they added, the 3% for credit card or something like that. They just... Total's your total, and then you've got your tip for the server, the wait staff. That makes sense. But yeah, they remove the friction of that, and they make it easy. Pay, get out, and let the next table in. But same thing in the business. But then removing friction in areas like the reviews, things like that, where we remove the friction by using something like OrbisX, where it sends out automatically asking for the review, and then we also remove the friction of the tip, making it easy for them to just they pay what they pay. And then it removes friction for our business by giving us more reviews, because it's that kind of not guilt, but it's they feel like, this is the business mentioned it to me. I gotta do this for them. I gotta help them out. They told us that was what's important. Like when they came in as a customer, we asked what's important to them. What area do you want us to focus on? Similarly, at the end of the transaction, we let them know this is what's important to us. And so it's it's friction is one of those things. Like it's an extra step. You got to talk to the customer and stuff. So you're adding friction, but it's also removing friction in the future because it's an investment in our future marketing. Where customers, we put out ads and then we say 1,400 plus 5-star reviews. Like that's huge. But it came with us adding in friction for ourselves, having to follow up with customers about reviews, push reviews, talk to them about it. But then our incoming lead funnels are frictionless because there's a lot more convincing that's already done for them. We don't have to kind of sell them on it. So yeah, friction's a really good topic, I think. And I think that if people narrow that down, they've got a sustainable, solid business. I think so. I think it all comes down to friction. Yeah, so don't let friction start a fire unless it's a good fire. I guess. But anyway, so I will compile this as the PDF. I'll post it in the group. You guys can download it, of course. And we're looking forward to next week's episode. Which will be anyway, I won't dive into it. I got some stuff, but we'll talk. Marshall, as always, appreciate you, man. Guys, check out HyperClean car care products. And on that note, actually, one last thing. I do have to address this. So we had added HyperClean car care products into OrbisX for you to be able to purchase easily. And then Sean went and didn't actually update our vendors page. So it's on the vendors page now. So if you click there, you'll be able to see the full array of products and you'll be able to add them to cart, stuff like that, and make a purchase very easily. Because Marshall and I are also trying to remove friction from your life. And by making it easier for you to purchase products, which you can then sell to your customers so they can maintain the vehicle in between visits, you make more money, you reduce friction, and when you go do the maintenance plans, which I hope to God you're selling to them, it's going to be easier for you to perform the maintenance, which also reduces friction. You'll have the card saved on file because you're using OrbisX, because you're a smart business owner.
Boom, boom, boom.
Once again, removing friction. So cheers to
and
a
you just let the dominoes
roll.
fall, right?
And let them fall. Absolutely.
Let the dominoes fall.
Free of friction. Of friction.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you as always, man. Guys, stay safe out there. Buy HyperClean. Thanks for using OrbisX, and we'll see you next week. All right. Cheers.